Good afternoon, everybody. All right. Calling the regular board meeting for May 12th to order. The first item is flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So can we get an approval for board agenda? Can we have a? Yeah.
I second.
Thanks, Jerry, and thanks, fellas. And can we have a roll call vote?
Yes, trustee Lou.
Aye.
Trustee Vogel.
Aye.
Trustee Leon.
Aye.
Trustee Manhattan.
Aye. Thank you. So we are going to have a closed session. Is there a public comment before the closed session?
No, there are not.
Okay, so we'll adjourn for the closed session. We'll come back at 6 o'clock.
Thank you. So I think we're all excited because we haven't had people visiting and joining us for 24 months. So when we all came out of closed session, we weren't really sure how to act because we're used to walking into an empty room. So welcome, everyone. I do have a full page here of a superintendent report, but with all of our guests here, I know one of the items that we do want to get to is to recognizing all of our special guests tonight. Some of the exciting things that I did just want to share as we're wrapping up this year. We are in the steps of planning to return to our normal Yosemite trips next year and our science camps. And I know that's been something that many of our parents have been asking about. And that next page of getting back to some of our normalcy, I think is really exciting for all of us. The other is that we have an upcoming celebration of our retirees. We have 47 employees that will be retiring. So we're going to recognize them at the end of the month and thank them for their service to CUSD. So a lot of reasons to celebrate. And it's been a long year. And I think all of us together have pulled through and, you know, I look across at the audience and just owe so much to our teachers. And it's such a special event tonight to get to host them. And we're so happy that we're doing this in person. So with that, I'm not going to read my page long of superintendent report and let's just jump into the celebrations. Thank you.
Thank you, Vizia. We'll go to the next one, classified employee of the month.
Okay, this is a great crowd. It is nice to see live faces. For this next wonderful employee recognition, I'd like to call up our principal of Eaton Elementary School, Cynthia Ho. Are you in the house, Cynthia?
Thank you, Mike. I would like to also invite up Marina Alvarez. Good evening. I'm so proud to be here to celebrate the work of our wonderful custodian, Marina Alvarez. So I'm going to actually just read wonderful words from our staff in support of Marina's nomination. Marina works hard to keep Eaton beautiful and safe for students and staff. She's flexible, friendly, always ready to help when needed. She takes pride in her work and it shows as our school is sparkling and clean. She's a team player and it is a pleasure to work with her. She goes above and beyond to make sure our school is sanitized, especially during this time. She even helps me to water my plants because I cannot keep them alive. She has a great attitude, always friendly and helpful. Marina stays overtime to clean and vacuum our kindergarten classrooms. She's always checking to ensure that our staff and students have what they need. And everything is working in order so that kids can learn and staff can thrive. So please join me in thanking Marina for her great work. Congratulations.
Yeah, something for you.
Wow.
So the next one is recognition of the California Classified School Employees Week. Mike, again.
Okay. So first of all, congratulations, Marina. Second thing here is I'd like to give you a little background here. Cupertino Union School District recognizes that the valuable service and commitment of its classified employees are a significant factor in the educational excellence achieved by the district. Just some examples of the work that they do. They help provide a high-quality instructional program. Our classified staff meet the safety and welfare needs of our students and help promote a caring and nurturing school environment. We'd like to recognize the time and talent and the expertise of our classified staff and how it helps to enhance the quality and the lives of our students in the district. The board wishes to underscore the value of our classified staff and the fulfillment of the district's mission. We hereby join the state of California and proclaim May 15th through the 21st, 2022 as Classified School Employees Week in CUSD.
Thank you, Mike. We'll go to the next one. Very important thing, recognition of our teachers, Teacher of the Year award.
Great. So again, welcome to all our guests tonight. And before I turn it over to HR, just wanting to, earlier this week, Executive Cabinet had an opportunity with the assistance of our Director of Communication. We put together a short video for our teachers, and the ask was to go back into our early childhood, our early school years, and select a teacher that made an impact on us. And I think as EC, as we were gathering and putting this together, what resonated is all of us had such fond memories. We could all remember our teachers' names. We remembered very explicit moments that impact happened. And really that is the impact of our teachers. You know, students remember them for years and years, and they come back and they share those stories. And oftentimes our teachers don't even know the impact that they made on students, but it's those little things, those caring, those extra moments, those extra touches that really reach and touch our students and stay with them forever. And all of our stories that we were sharing in EC, we see all of those characteristics in all of our teachers throughout the district. And so it made you sit back and to think, you know, teachers are special, but when you really think about our CUSD teachers and what they give every day to our kids, and that success continues, the impact they have, I hope that they know, even through those days when you're discouraged and you're feeling like, gosh, this is just so much and I can't take it anymore, to know what impact you're having on the students and that long lasting effect you're going to have. Our teachers are amazing, and it's just such an honor to be able to recognize today. But as I said in my video, every day is Day of the Teacher. So we should be doing this celebration every day if we could. So with that, just a huge thank you to our teachers. I wanted to invite Kai Brown up. He does want to say a couple words before we kick off the recognition.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm the union president for the teachers, and I couldn't be more proud. There's no doubt that teachers play or have played a significant part in all of our lives. When I first started teaching, there was a man named Randall Binkley, who was a science teacher, and he took me under his wing and taught me that it was okay to let students play with $300 microscopes, and taught me the wonders of pond water and all the other things that I've come to love in teaching. Tonight we're celebrating teachers And as I reflect upon this, I realize that we're actually celebrating the folks who most impact the core of what we do and fundamentally support the reason for CUSD's existence, and that is to teach children. Well, it may sound like a simple task, it is anything but that. Teachers provide students with not just academic skills, but also those needed to navigate our society at large. They help young people understand there are rules in society that one must follow, and there are consequences if they are not followed. They help guide students through complex peer interactions and show them how to deal with and control their emotions, be those anger, sadness, envy, loneliness, or even pride. As we emerge into the changed societal landscape COVID has created, it is teachers who are helping to guide and support our students. Tonight, I'd like to thank all our teachers and congratulate the 21-22 Teachers of the Year. I'd also like to express my appreciation to our school board and district leadership for completing our negotiations, and in so doing, show that they value and respect our staff. Thank you for giving me the time to speak.
I now would like to invite everyone's attention to our screen. We have put together a video highlighting the work of our teachers and our students in the classroom.
We have a problem, then she can help us solve it.
The idea of walking in, no matter how you're feeling, and to have these guys come in and just their enthusiasm, their spirit, their resilience, their excitement, it's just takes over whatever feelings you have, and you just realize what a great career this is and how you make a difference every single day, and it, you know, you're the constant for them, for a lot of these kids.
She's understanding. She gives like all of us a lot of time to give work. She explains things, and she's just an awesome teacher overall.
I think the biggest thing for me is the students. The students are what get me out of bed every morning. They're hilarious. I love when I pose a question to them or kind of a critical thinking problem, and then it takes them a minute to get it, but then they get it. And those kind of moments just make it for me as a teacher.
Because she teaches because a lot of things. Because she's one of all teachers who comes every single weekend.
Because they're fun and I get to do hands-on things and they get to explore the world. They're so curious and their minds are little sponges. This class is having so much fun right now and they're learning. I love that I can combine the fun and the learning together.
Also, she told us that a square is a special kind of rectangle.
I would say, like, let me know if you ever need a check-in.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And that, which is amazing.
Kids and getting to help them, and kind of like Abby said, helping them through the times that are hard for them. And I just think it's so wonderful to be able to help, and especially when these past 2 years with COVID, it's been really kind of wonderful to help them and get them through it. And, you know, whether they have hard times at home or hard times in school or whatever it may be, it's kind of rewarding.
Especially when we're going to do like a dark time and like the school day or whatever.
Oh, yes.
When we come to our office and all we can hear is like a friend.
He's kind. She lets us read. And
I keep teaching because I love the kids, I love my team, and I love this school. So teaching is just a warm feeling every day.
It was a very nice and a lot of skills. I love my teacher because she is helpful.
I have a passion for learning. I really love students. I love learning. I love inspiring and engaging.
Bar always does many fun things, like many science experiments and she makes activities fun. So if it's hard, she makes it easier.
for us to do.
Middle school is the growth that you see from 6th grade to 8th grade musically is just amazing. Like they go from not really knowing anything or very little about music to just having this knowledge and ability to perform, and to me that's so exciting. Plus they're not afraid to be silly a lot of the time. Sometimes they are, but a lot of times they're willing to be silly. They're willing to just try new things, and I love that.
He doesn't just teach us for the sake of teaching. He also, is interacting with music, and he loves music, and that's why I think that radiates off him in a way. His passion just radiates off it, and I think that's what inspires us to do well.
I love teaching because the kids are just so courageous and brave to always try new things and share their thoughts. And every day is like a new adventure because you never know what it will bring. And just to see them continue to push and have that grit and compassion for each other, it is just truly inspiring.
Because she's a very nice kid. My most favorite thing about my teacher is when she teaches me math. Because she helps us. Because she explains everything really detailed.
She encourages us to do extra activities.
Because she has fun projects for us to do every single time. She's a very fun teacher.
I enjoy hearing what they have to say and their thoughts on the world. I would say it's amazing sometimes the things that they come up with.
My favorite thing about teaching, of course, is being with the kids all day. When I taught in a regular classroom, I remember saying to my class, would you rather be with adults all day or kids all day? And they got it. And of course, even as an adult, it's just so much fun. Every day is different, every day is exciting. Kids are awesome. They teach them learn and grow that's why I've been teaching forever, for so long. I just love it.
She teaches well. She's fun to be around, and she's nice.
I really enjoy working with the kids. They make me laugh and cry sometimes in the same day. So the joy of just being with the kids is why I enjoy being in the classroom.
And she was helping other kids, helping other teachers.
Yeah,
helping
she
everybody.
showed them what was the right thing to do to teach their students. She helps us by teaching us so many things we learn every day.
And she helps us she even adds a little fun to it.
What I love about my job as intervention specialist is that I get to work with many grade levels, both the teachers and the students. I love when my struggling 2nd grade readers beam with pride after reading a challenging book, when they shout, "This is easy." I love when students say, "Spring break was boring. I miss being at school." I love that we as teachers have the ability to create a place where students feel safe and happy and loved, and most of all, excited to learn.
For him, I like to read too. This makes me learn about dogs and about animals or trees, everything kind of books, and that's why I like books. She treats me nicely, and when I'm having trouble with stuff, she always figures out time, and she's really flexible. She figures out time to help me. She's helpful when she encourages people and tells them that they can do this.
I love coaching students to become the best versions of themselves, and I find a lot of fulfillment partnering with families and getting to know who the child is from all angles at school, after school, and not only helping them with their 3rd grade goals and academics, but helping them socially and helping them mature and gain confidence and build life skills that they can take with them for many years to come. I think for me, the most special thing about it is the relationships that you build with the kids each day. You know, you can teach them the basic curriculum and all of that, but really getting to know them and getting to hear their thinking and how they work through different problems socially and academically is really special for me, and it makes it a really great job to have.
And she always makes everything like super fun. Like sometimes, always in math, like when we're trying to work new strategies, she always mentions, remember, we should work smarter, not harder. And when she says that, she recaps all the strategies she has taught us about that lesson. Well, sometimes for me it takes me a little bit more time for me to fully understand it. So I do like how she makes everything like I said, like fun.
There's a simplicity to being with kids. There is a lot of play at this age. I feel that that's the best form of learning for a lot of kids at this age, especially. You know, I think anytime we can engage some level of play, that's when they're most engaged.
Fun, amazing, and really, really steady. She's really caring and considerate. And because sometimes she makes silly faces like today.
So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mike Gelber, Associate Superintendent of HR, and we will begin recognizing our Teacher of the Year and then announce our Teacher of the Year that will represent us at the county level. So I will turn it over to Mike.
Thank you. That was a great video. Made me sad. Because since I've been in administration, I've never had a kid say, I love the HR guy. It's strange, but it's true. So just some facts about tonight's honorees. 15 teachers out of this group selected combined for, and it's not because they're old, it's just a lot of math. They combined for 180 years taught in CUSD. The majority of those selected this year have only taught in CUSD. And the majority of those selected have worked the majority of their time in CUSD at their current site. And lastly, quite a few of these teachers started out as long-term subs before becoming full-time staff members. So congratulations. So the Teacher of the Year program provides the Board of Education and certificated staff an opportunity to recognize individuals who have demonstrated exemplary teaching skills, talents, and accomplishments. A district committee made up of representatives from the board, district and school administrator, CEA, and the parent community select a district teacher of the year based on site level peer recommendations and district-wide criteria. One teacher from the list below will represent the district teaching staff during the 21-22 academic school year at the county level. In addition, the district's teacher of the year will become a nominee for the county teacher of the year. So without further ado, representing Blue Hills, Melissa Hickman. Yeah, we'll need you to stay on the stage for that Kodak moment at the end here. Representing Eaton, Katie Anderson. Representing Eisenhower, Lydia Patke. Representing Faria, Lynn Dardis. Representing Garden Gate, Desiree Barr. Representing Lincoln Elementary, Doris Byers. Representing Meyerholtz, Grace Lynn. Representing Montclair is Susan Weistart. Susan couldn't make it tonight, so she's with us. Recognizing the teacher from Muir, Kristen Mattis. Representing Nimitz, Tracy Burris.
Elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist. There you go.
Representing Sedgwick, Kylie Rachwalski. She's not with us, but she is watching on Zoom, so everybody wave to her. Thank you. Representing Stevens Creek, Joni Orvik. Representing Stockelmeyer, Neva Tracy. Representing West Valley, Audrey Shee. Representing Cupertino Middle, Laura Hennessy. Representing Lawson Middle School, Asa Stern. All right, Asa's on Zoom. Congratulations, Jason. All right. All right, now, the moment you've all been waiting for. How was that, Asa? Pretty good, right? Our 21-22 District Teacher of the Year, Joni Orvik.
Thank you. So spoiler alert, I knew in advance. So I planned a short something to say because there are so many people that I would like to acknowledge. It's so nice to look out, and some of you might know, but I actually went to school in CUSD. So I know so many people, even from my childhood. I have a past assistant principal in the room and so many other people that helped me out along the way. So this really is a great honor. The past few years have presented unexpected challenges in education, so that makes this award even more special. It's an honor to be standing up here with so many amazing teachers. CUSD is lucky to have all of you. We all know that teaching is a collaborative effort, therefore I have many people to acknowledge, but I promise I'll make it quick. I would first like to give a shout out to the staff at Stevens Creek who make it such an amazing place to work, especially those of you that came tonight. Thank you. There are so many people that have helped support me personally and professionally throughout my teaching career, and I wouldn't have made it this long without them. Thank you so much to Melissa, who's been an amazing mentor and principal. She's so encouraging as I take on new responsibilities or I'm met with new challenges. My parents and family who have been so supportive of my goals throughout my entire career, and even before that when I was working to become a teacher. My parents taught my siblings and I all the value of volunteering, giving back to your community, and putting in the extra effort for the benefit of all. I also can't forget my parents' company, Orvik Management Group, which has made countless donations to my classroom throughout the years. Finally, my daughter, Sophia, who has motivated me to be the person that I am today. Thank you so much, everyone.
We're going to keep you up here and get a good picture.
We can get the board to go ahead and join in the picture as well.
Sure, this is not the, shouldn't we fill in a little bit? Like the good teachers there are, they're waiting for to be dismissal. You can go sit down now. Congratulations.
We would like to invite all of our distinguished guests and their guests. We do have some refreshments, and we will take a pause in our meeting and resume in about 15 minutes. So give a chance to celebrate.
Okay, we are starting back. The communication side, do we have any employee organization? Is anyone going to talk?
No, we do not.
Okay. Thank you.
Encourage the people to carry on their conversations outside. encourage them to carry on their conversations outside.
Hello, hello, everybody. The session is resumed. It's fine.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
good.
thank you all. So we are going with the public comments. This is the items which is not the public comment for the item which is not agendized. So what we are going to do, we will have only 20 minutes actually in the beginning of this meeting, and if anything more than that, we will take it at the end of the meeting. Okay? Thank you. So let's call the first speaker then.
The first speaker is Isabel Rodriguez. If you could please come to the podium.
So we will have 3 minutes. Then how many speakers we have? Erin?
We have 4.
Okay, fine. Then 3 minutes each then.
Okay. Good evening, board members. My name is Isabel Rodriguez. I am a 21-year resident of the Oak Valley neighborhood in Cupertino. I am here tonight to strongly oppose a petition from my neighborhood asking to change the elementary school assignment from Stevens Creek to Montclair. On May 1st, an email to the Oak Valley Google group was sent, quote, "Summary of ask, we need your help in signing a petition. A few of us from this neighborhood are working on a petition to revert to the flexible elementary school choosing between Stevens Creek and Montclair," unquote. On Tuesday, May 3rd, a neighbor came to my house asking for signatures to support a petition to the Cupertino Union School Board. He conveyed that his intention is for parents to have an option for either Montclair or Elementary or Stevens Creek. However, when I was reading the petition, the words rezoning and for Oak Valley were there, and nothing about choosing between Stevens Creek and Montclair. I immediately told him his verbal message is not consistent with the written text. Later, as I checked with other neighbors, they only recall his verbal message. Last Thursday, I went by his house with a neighbor to request the full text of the petition, and he refused. This morning, I read a note left on my front door, quote, "Hi, I have worked with the CUSD board to modify the petition," unquote. Per my understanding, all previous signatures are automatically invalid when the petition content is changed. Reasons for his petitions were as follows. Number 1, previous existence of flexible elementary school choosing between Stevens Creek and Montclair. The only choice we all had was to move or not into the neighborhood. When we bought the house, the disclosure statement under a school's heading says, quote, "Students K through 6 residing in neighborhoods 2, 3, and 4 will attend Stevens Creek Elementary School," unquote. Reason number 2, CUSD canceled bus services. In the same disclosure statement, page 1, last paragraph clearly says, quote, "Except for special education students, busing or other school-sponsored transportation is not provided." Reason number 3, the petitioner mentioned the safety of crossing Foothill Expressway. We already have a street light at that intersection.
Excuse me, Isabel, 3 minutes time up. Thank you.
Okay.
So can we go
That's
to the
good.
next speaker, please?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Dr. Andy Huang.
Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, the board member, my name is Dr. Andy Huang. Again, a 21-year resident at the Oak Valley. I strongly oppose the petition to rezone the Oak Valley for the following 6 reasons. The petition, number 1, petitioner cites safety reasons. Per Cupertino Municipal Code 2.60.070, safety traffic issues should be first discussed with the Public Safety Commission. I checked the Public Safety Commission for the entire 2022. There were no such agendized item. Number 2, for the last 21 years, Oak Valley neighborhood parents, we all drove our kids to school. We even managed to have a ride-sharing program for the working parents. My own two kids share rides with executives of Apple and Google and Intel staff. If the petitioner cares so much about safety, why don't they drive their kids to school? Number three, as part of the buying contract, there's a full disclosure of schools, and it clearly states there are no busing available. And that was in the full disclosure statement. The petitioner is fully aware of the risk buying a property in Oak Valley. If he's so concerned about safety, he should buy a property in Montclair area. Number four, if the petitioner would like to send his children to Montclair, CUSD already provided a procedure where he can apply as an option. Why does he want to rezone the entire Oak Valley area where he already has such an option available to him? Number five, the distance from the petitioner house is 2.2 miles, double the distance to Stevens Creek, which is 1.1 miles per Google map. A 42 minutes walk versus a 22 minutes walk. Why does the petitioner want to subject his children to double the risk when he cares so much about safety? Number six, Tuesday, I made a request on the Oak Valley Public's group, the Google group, for a full disclosure text and title so we can all look at it, but they was not made available even now as we speak. I couldn't help to wonder, are there any fine prints that he's not unwilling to share with all of us? Because the only thing he did was just verbally communicated for the signature. Therefore, I just like to know that, like all of you know, that for past 21 years, Oak Valley neighborhood never had any major problems without this petition. Why all of a sudden there's such an issue? And on top of that, I just wonder whether his intention or her intention is truly safety or is their personal preference to go to Montclair. The petition will shift significant finance from Stevens Creek to Montclair, which is a major issue. I respectfully request the board to provide a full disclosure to the public if there are any board members who lives or owns property near the Montclair area, because that's an obvious conflict of interest.
Excuse me, Dr. Anthony. Yeah, I think
Okay.
3 minutes over.
Thank you
you
very
for
much.
your comments.
Appreciate it.
The next speakers we have are David Wygand and Audrey Shee. If you could please raise your hands. I don't believe I see them in attendance on Zoom. Oh, there you are. So
Yeah.
sorry.
Hey.
So good evening to the trustees of the board and Superintendent Yao. We're here tonight both in person and via Zoom. There were more folks in person, but some of them had to leave due to the delay in this. Representing the Canyon Oak neighborhood. There might be some confusion of Oak Valley versus Canyon Oak. Canyon Oak is part of Oak Valley. We're next to Rancho San Antonio, and this is regarding our concerns for our children's safety, getting to and from Stevens Creek Elementary School. I am David Wygand, the father of two children that will attend Stevens Creek School next school year. Along with me are several families. There were more earlier, had to go to due to commitments, both in person and also on Zoom, that represent more than 10% of our Canyon Oak neighborhood. We've also submitted a petition on behalf of the Canyon Oak neighborhood to UCSD board and Superintendent Yao and the city councils of Cupertino and Los Altos, representing signatures of over 90% of our 81 homes in our neighborhood, with several other neighbors that are interested but are not interested in signing, but they're not currently in town. So I respect the board's time. I'll represent everyone except for obviously some people. And the petition was sent when we went around. The petition was, they read it, everything. People did ask for it via email. So we sent it to them via email. I only saw your request this morning because I'm not on the Google groups that you must have sent that email request to. So we were unaware that you had made a request or that people hadn't seen it because, like I said, everybody that we went to when they asked for it, we sent it to them via email. So in respect to the board's time, I'll represent everyone. So you don't have to hear from each of the parents that are in attendance tonight. They're all very passionate about this issue. So to ensure the safety of our children and provide them with a safe route to school, we're requesting CUSD board allow for the inclusion of the Canyon Oak neighborhood in the Montclair Elementary School attendance zone as a flexible boundary. The children in our neighborhood currently do not have a safe route to school walking to Stevens Creek Elementary, since our children have to cross extremely busy 4-lane high-speed limit Foothill Expressway, which also has 2 turning lanes, so it's actually 6 lanes. And there's no crossing guard, as well as having to walk on Christoway Drive and Starling across the railroad bridge, none of which have sidewalks, and both are high-traffic, high-speed streets. By including our neighborhood as a flexible boundary in the Montclair Elementary School, our children will have a very safe route to school with sidewalks, no busy intersections to cross, and a route that is approximately equidistant walking between the 2 schools. This route is very similar to the other half of our Oak Valley neighborhood that currently are assigned to Montclair. We expect attendance zones to remain unchanged. One big concern in talking with folks, including folks that are here.
Excuse me, Mr. David, you're 3 minutes up.
Okay, so we understand and appreciate your extreme concern to take care of our kids. So we would like to make sure that we understand currently they don't have a safe route to school.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, if you have anything, you can
Thank
send
you.
us a mail actually to
That's
the board. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Do you have the one more?
Audrey Shi. I don't see her in
Online
person
or-
or online.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Then I think we will move to the next item then. We'll go to the consent items. We have 8.1 is Apple only, so can we get a motion for that?
I move to approve item 8.1.
Thanks, Jerry. And can we have a second?
A second.
Yeah, thanks, Phyllis. Can we have a roll call?
Trustee Lou,
Aye.
trustee Cunningham,
Abstain and recuse.
trustee Vogel,
Aye.
trustee Leon,
Aye.
trustee Manhattan.
Aye. Thank you. So the next one is, can we have a motion for 8.2 to 8.9, please?
I'll move 8.2 to 8.9.
Okay, Lori. A second, please.
Second.
Thanks, Sylvia. Can we have a roll call?
Trustee Lou,
Aye.
trustee Cunningham,
Aye.
trustee Vogel,
Aye.
trustee Leon,
Aye.
trustee Manhattan.
Aye. Thank you. All the consent items are over. Next section is the information presentation, and who's going to do the 9.1 UP planning and implementation, guys?
So I am going to have Allison and Michelle will do a presentation update on this. We are excited. This is part of our expansion of our TK, and we had brought it forward, I believe, back in December as kind of the initial planning, and wanted to update where we are with the progress of adding our TKs and our sites. So I'll turn it over to Allison.
Yes, thank you. We have been working on developing our plan for the expansion of TK. Michelle has really been taking the lead on this work. So if you want to come up to the podium, Michelle, I'm going to pass it to you in just a moment, but I wanted to just kind of lay the groundwork that the state has provided a template for us to work through, and we've been doing that, and we wanted to share it with you tonight because that is one of the requirements that we share for consideration, our plan to date. Of course, the planning will be ongoing as we continue to expand TK. We were very excited to have lots of teacher representation on our planning team. It was also cross departments. So my colleagues here were part of it, as well as our union president from CSEA, since we have that IA component of the TK plan. We also had a couple of principals, and we've been meeting and talking and capturing the required elements of the plan, but also thinking big about the other areas of where we'd like to go. So we wanted to share with you our plan to date and see if you had any feedback. And then the next step is we will be reporting some of the required information, all of the required information to the state as part of the requirements for launching the expansion of TK. So Michelle's going to go through the information at kind of a high level, and then we'll see what's on your mind.
Yes, thank you. So as Allison was saying, we had an opportunity to meet as a group for the last about 4 months, once a month, to go over the template that was provided to us to make sure that we went over some key areas. So the key areas on the template were vision and coherence, community engagement and partnerships, workforce recruitment and professional learning, curriculum instruction and assessment, and finally, facility services and operations. So as we were saying, we had representatives from all of the different areas to be able to give input from different perspectives and really look through all of those different components. The template had both required and recommended questions. So our first task was to really work on those required questions, and those would give us a firm foundation to keep building our TK program in place and then work on this expansion. And the recommended questions, some of those we dove into, some of those are going to be addressed as we continue growing in the program. So those we'll continue to reflect on those as we go through. I'd like to give you just some general overview of the different parts of the template and an update of where we are now with TK numbers. So currently, just as a refresh, the way that the rollout works is currently our dates for TK are September 2nd through December 2nd. Each year we bring in a couple more months worth of kids. So starting next year, the date will go through February 2nd, the following year, April 2nd, next June 2nd, and finally September 1st, which will then include all 4-year-olds in the program. We have enrolled as of May 10th, 358 TK students. When we first did our projections, we had anticipated having 12 classrooms next year. We are up to 15 classrooms across 10 sites. I'll say one bonus of this is with our 10 sites and the 15 rooms is that one thing that was an advantage for our TK teachers is the opportunity to collaborate. So we now have several sites that have 2 TK teachers on the campus. We'll have, our sites include Blue Hills, which will have 2, DeVargas, which will have 2, Eaton, which is a brand new site for TK, will have 2, Eisenhower will have 1, Garden Gate, Lincoln, and Montclair will have 1, Nimitz will grow to 2, Stevens Creek will have 1, and Stockholmeyer will have 2 again. So we're excited about that and excited for our TK teachers. The design of the program, we're keeping it as a full day program as we've been operating so far. That's always up for review as we continue on in the process, but for next year, we'll continue that full day program. The ratio for next year is a 12-to-1 ratio required. So we will have instructional assistants full day for each of our TK classrooms, which is also another wonderful addition. As we move forward, there's a potential for that to go to 10-to-1 according to the state, but that is yet to be seen, and we'll continue following that over time to see if that does, they do go forward with a 10-to-1 ratio. We have also, as far as the workforce, we'll be working with Santa Clara County Office of Education. I will be sitting with the group there to be monitoring how we continue to work and get our staff. There are special requirements to be a TK teacher, which include early childhood education units. So we'll all be working together to watch that as well. So those are the highlights and kind of the key points. And I'd love to get any feedback or questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. So let's go over the, who wants to start? Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Satish. Yes. Michelle, thanks for the presentation. Very happy to see this program come about. My main question is around the location of the sites. You mentioned 10 of the sites will have these TK classrooms. Do we have a sense then of what percentage of the students will have to commute to a site that wouldn't be their kindergarten site when they get into kindergarten? I understand the sort of, certainly there are advantages to having 2 classrooms per site, but the other, the reverse side of it is there are some folks that will have to commute since we're not really providing bus for general ed. So I was just wondering if you could speak a bit about that and what were the considerations when y'all decided where to put these TK classrooms?
Sure, and I'm going to pass to Leslie for a little bit more information on that.
So I can get you information on numbers and where kids are coming from. Some of our school sites that we've chosen for TK actually have only kids from that neighborhood. So Stockholmeyer is an example. The 2 classes are full with Stockholmeyer students, and actually some of them will be overflowing to other transitional kindergarten sites. And then there's a couple different things that we looked at when we selected the sites. We looked at where were the kids coming from, and that changes every year. So I can get you that information in a weekly update. We also looked at the school site capacity, their ability to actually add transitional kindergarten classrooms. We have some that have, for example, Nimitz has a transitional kindergarten sort of area that has their own playground. So it's an optimal site. And then we looked at if a school site didn't have the ability to house a transitional kindergarten classroom for some reason, what were the neighboring school sites around that had the facility and the capacity? Okay.
All right, great. Thank you. That's only my only question. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Who wants to go? Any of?
I don't have a question, just a comment.
Okay.
You want comments?
Yeah.
Okay. So my comment is I'm delighted that we went to 15, and I'm really glad to see that we have some schools that have 2 classes, and I hope we're able to continue to add so that those collaborations can happen in the schools. I think that's really important, but I think you've done a great job in making that happen in some of our schools. So thank you. And thank you for the presentation.
Thanks, Phyllis.
So I had a question about the 12-to-1 ratio. So is that then 12 students in one room with one teacher, or is it more students with like a plus an aide or something like that? Is it a straight up 12-to-1 bodies in the room?
Right. So the way it works is there can be one certificated teacher, but we can have more than 12 students per classroom. So we'll have the 24 students in a classroom with a second adult is what the requirement is.
Okay.
So in that case, we
IA
have our instructional assistants that can be that second adult and provide additional support.
So then when we're looking at the 2 classrooms, we're looking at up to 48 in one site.
I'm sorry.
So if we're looking at 2 classrooms at one site, then it's up to, we're looking at a number of 48 up to at one site. Okay.
Correct.
All right. With 4 staff potentially.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. I had a question. I don't know if you are the right person to ask this question too. In terms of the funding for this, I know that I know it's a little complicated in terms of what we're getting funded for, depending on the age before they reach 5 years old, right? We're not funded before they reach 5 years old. So how much are we eating, I guess, out of our own general fund for this?
Oh, sorry. So to go back to your first part of your question, and as far as the traditional funding in an LCFF funding model, where we would be receiving ADA for the kids, those kids specifically, we would not receive any apportionment until they turn the age of 5. So if they're enrolled, if they're one of those fall babies that are enrolled early, we won't be eligible to claim them for funding purposes until they turn age 5. But when we do move to a basic aid district, it changes a little bit in terms of how we are now going to be funded based on that. It won't be based on the age of those students, I guess.
So with the age of 5, is the count done just the one time a year, or is it like if there's a staggering of kids' birthdays throughout the year, it's not like we get like the last 2 months of whatever the school year is, right? It's just kind of a snapshot in time.
Well, it's based on each, well, right. It would be based on each individual student and when they turn age 5. if I'm making sense, I mean, we're claiming apportionment for based on each individual student, based on their date of birth.
Okay. So it's basically staggered then, is what I'm hearing. Like,
Depending upon the
depending on the,
age
yeah,
of the
so
kids, child.
the funding will change throughout the year depending on the birthdays as they come up.
Right. So as each student were to turn 5 years of age, that would when we begin collecting the ADA on that
Okay,
student.
so
So
it's not,
depending on when they are.
okay. Yeah, so it's not like we all get it
right
at like August or something like that. It's whenever that birthday is, that's when the funding for it starts to help
Sure.
take off the burden. Okay. Those are my questions.
Thanks, Sylvia.
Thank you for the presentation and information, Michelle. Do we know yet? I mean, I know currently we don't get any of the state preschool seats nor Head Start seats. Do we anticipate that anything will change during the course of the rollout as to whether or not any of our kiddos would become eligible for that at our, like at DeVargas or Nimitz or any of those?
So the district does not hold any preschool contracts at this time. When we look into the ELOP part of that and working to do, the extended care, we could partner with those groups with our TKH students, but the district does not hold contracts ourselves.
Are we eligible for them? I always thought we weren't eligible for it based on our demographics right now, but is that an incorrect assumption?
So we're eligible to apply to be a provider. We aren't eligible to provide care at this time since we don't hold an actual contract through the state preschool program itself.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember back to when I first joined the board and I asked this question. So I think my understanding is that we were unlikely to be chosen as a site to receive those dollars because we just don't have high numbers of those students by what the model was at the time I joined. But has that changed, or was I misunderstanding that?
Possibly that could be true. So as they're looking at priorities across the state and their applications coming in, there is going to be a priority system. I don't have all of the details and information of that prioritization. At this time.
Maybe I'll just throw out there, I'd be interested to know if anything changes with our ability to offer 3-year-old, if we would have any chance of getting any funding for that, for our high needs kiddos. But
I could add that we did take a look at the last round of applications. So we discussed, whether it would be good to pursue at this time. And, one of the factors was what would the cost be for the district in taking on an endeavor, and is this the right time, given that we have 2 other programs starting and lots of change happening in the district. So there were a lot of unknowns on whether or not it would be the right next step at this moment, but we are watching all those announcements, lots of things changing and moving at the state level too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thank you. And then my other question was, you mentioned the credentialing piece with the extra units, the early ECE extra units for credentialed staff. Will that be true for the aides that will be in those rooms as well, the IAs? No.
No, just for the certificated teachers.
Okay. All right. Do you anticipate we'll be doing any sort of in-house PD for our IAs and TK?
Oh, yes. PD for TK, yes. So we'll be working as the IAs come on board. I'll be working with them and setting up some PD to get make sure that they're ready to go in the classroom with our youngest learners, and also with our TK teachers. We have PD planned for next year. We're actually bringing somebody in who is going to help work on classroom environment, making a very appropriate learning environment for young children. So we have that planned out for next year, and we're really excited about that.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate that. I think that's it for me, Satish. Thank you.
Thanks, Laurie. I have only a couple of questions, and thanks for this. This is great, actually. Everybody's waiting for this actually. So how is the registration process here? Is it like the parents will get a choice, or because it is not there everywhere. So who decides where the kid will go?
How they're assigned to school sites?
Correct.
I'll let Leslie do that one.
So when they enroll, they know the information that they have is where we had transitional kindergarten classrooms the year before. And what we tell them is that there's high likelihood that those will also be the same transitional kindergarten classes moving forward. But we look at the number of students from an area to determine our capacity to be able to add. So what ends up happening is we have certain feeder patterns is really what we have, sort of like we do with our middle schools, where we have elementary schools going into a feeder of a middle school. So we take our regions, and for the most part, we stick them in that same region that would follow, that's proximity based and would follow sort of the same peer group of kids. If they are not happy with the region that we've assigned them to, then they can open enroll for another school. So for example, I'm assigned to go to Eaton based on where I live. That's what the district thinks. I really don't want to go to Eaton. I want to go to DeVargas. I would open enroll to go to DeVargas, like all of our families open enroll. And so that's really how it works. And so if we end up with an overflow situation, which for example, we will have at Stockholmeyer, we will do a lottery. Anyone that has applied during the priority enrollment period, we do a lottery, and then we will let them overflow. Typically they overflow to Nimitz, which is one of the reasons why we've designated that site. If they do not want to overflow to Nimitz, for example, they could choose to open enroll to another transitional kindergarten location.
That's good. Then would they continue in the same school for their kindergarten, or again go back to the neighborhood?
They have the option of either staying at the transitional kindergarten location through open enrollment. So if I am a Stockholmeyer student, I ended up overflowing to Nimitz, but I really want to stay there. They're informed before open enrollment that if you want to stay at that transitional kindergarten location, you need to apply like our other families through open enrollment, and they end up getting a priority status. So we do our best to keep our transitional kindergartners at their original site if that is what they so choose. We're pretty confident that we're usually able to provide it. It hasn't happened 100% of the time, just based on capacity or based on kindergarten numbers for neighborhood kids. We have to house them first, but we do a pretty good job at being able to get them the place that they want to stay.
Great. And the last one is there a busing or anything for them, or their parents have to drop them?
Parents provide the transportation.
Thank you.
Can I ask one follow-up to what you asked? Do you have longer wait lists right now for TK than for other grades? Is that a common thing that people are requesting to not be at the site? No. Okay.
No.
So it's typical compared to the other grades and the rest of the
It's typical. We actually have not sent their final placement information out yet. We're waiting for a couple other things to play out. What we wait as long as we think we can wait. From a daycare perspective, our parents want to know. So we let them know, I believe at the end of May or beginning of June, and we give them their assignment. But what happens is our numbers continue to shift on a daily basis. So we'd rather not tell a parent that they, through a lottery, are overflowed. We'd rather just say, here's your location. But they tend to be pretty fine with the regions that we have provided.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Satish, I have one more question as well. This is a follow-up to Sylvia's question, and it's for Chris. Chris, I understand that we don't get ADA for the kids until they have their 5th birthday. So that means the 4-year-olds, the burden is on us to provide that. Do you have any idea, or can you guess what the encroachment would be for that program for those 4-year-olds?
I wouldn't want to take a guess at this point in time, but I can come back and give some numbers. For
Or maybe in the Friday. Yeah, that would be perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Philip. Sylvia or Jerry, do we have any public comment?
We do. We have one speaker.
Yes.
Remy Khan, if you could please raise your hand. Remy, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yes, hi. Thank you so much for your presentation and for going over the details regarding the transitional kindergarten. So I have, and some of these were brought up a little bit, but there was a mention of the funding kind of changing according to each child turning 5. And you specifically mentioned the fall babies. And so thank you for mentioning that and clarifying that as well. In terms of some of those fall babies, for example, who are turning 5, maybe in the middle or at the end of September, are there any options for them to move to regular kindergarten? And if so, what does that process look like? And how does that affect the funding?
Okay, so this is a comment. Actually, we do not respond for this, but we have noted down your question actually. Yeah. And you can reach us out also by mail. We will respond back if specific question on that, right?
Okay, great.
And staff follow up with that question.
Yeah.
One-on-one with them.
Okay, thank you. That's all we have.
That was all.
Okay, thank you very much then. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Alice. So can we go to the next one, 9.2? Yes, and I think it's Mike again, I did.
9.2 is just a brief update with the SEIU has brought forward another sunshine article. So we did need to bring it to the board attention. It doesn't need approval. It just is for your information.
Questions? Any discussion needed? Anybody? Okay. Any public comment on this?
No.
Okay, thank you. Then we can move on. The discussion items, this 10.1. MOU with the Taipei actually, CUSD and Taipei City. Who is going to present?
I will kick it off.
Yes.
And I wanted to bring forward tonight an MOU that we've been working on with New Taipei City. One of the things that I think we treasure and value so much in CUSD is our opportunities that we provide for our students and exchanging globally and having that opportunity for exchanging the academic, the cultural awareness. And we have some strong, longstanding sister city partnerships that I think our students have continued to flourish and grow from. And this opportunity came forward to us. There was an interest from New Taipei City. I've been in contact with their government. We've exchanged emails. I'm really looking at the excitement of forming a sisterhood here with Cupertino that allows our students the opportunity to learn more, their students to learn more. Initially, I think starting with our adults, having that opportunity as adults to become more aware of the cultural exchange and having that opportunity to share ideas. So, one of the things that I remember just as we were at the Cherry Blossom Festival a couple of weeks ago was that we were being introduced and one of the presenters made the comment, wouldn't it be wonderful to expand these global experience for our students? And then this kind of landed right here in our lap as well. I think the one thing that I do really want to stress is this is a new partnership we're seeking to form. We don't want it in any way to impact our current sister partnerships. Those are longstanding traditions. We welcome, we flourish on what we have standing. And so we didn't want this to be perceived as taking away from anything. It really is expanding that opportunity for our students. I know we have two guests on Zoom with us that one is Catherine Singh, who actually had reached out back months ago and introduced me to the New Taipei City. She works with another district that currently does have an MOU and has had the program in place. And Gilbert Wong would also like to speak a little bit about the possible partnership with our cities. So if we could, I think they're both online. So maybe we could have Catherine, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me at this board meeting. As a matter of fact, yesterday I see several of you at the Hoffman Award for the Santa Clara County School Board Association award ceremony. My name is Catherine Zhen. I'm the school board member, trustee of Los Gatos Saratoga Union High School District, and then Silicon Valley Career Tech Education. It was a few years, 5 years ago, actually, we have our school districts established this international students educators collaboration opportunity with New Taipei City. And right before the pandemic, we actually have our students working on the global project with the students in New Taipei City. At that time, it's the high school students, and they work on online over the summer. And then in October of 2019, our students and then their teachers and then principal and then our superintendent went to Taiwan attending this New Taipei City have this international education forum. So our student be able to meet up with the students from England, German, Switzerland, Denmark, Australia, and Japan and Korea. So it was a great opportunity for our students to work globally with other students in the other continent, and it just expand the horizon and specifically, help our student better understand, the student at their similar age in the other continent, how they doing in their classroom. And it's our student came back to our school and they share their experience, and our teacher, collaborated with those educator overseas, time. So we just see this as an excellent opportunity for the students in the state to have that kind of collaboration. And I think this type last year, October 15, City of Cupertino and then the New Taipei City MOU, which is under the blessing of U.S. State Department and and Taiwan government. They have this agreement, to help both countries of the citizen and then the students, to engage in this collaboration effort. So I'm so glad to here to share my own school district's experience with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Gilbert?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Gilbert Wong, former mayor for the city of Cupertino and trustee for Foothill De Anza, but acting here as myself. As Trustee Zhang explained that I'm part of the committee and we're really excited to come and get the support of the Cupertino Union School District. Is run by volunteers in partnership with the city of Cupertino and CUSD. We have a good, strong volunteer basis, and we have worked together before with the Cupertino Elementary School District. Multiculturalism has been a strong goal of CUSD, and I think that this would be an added benefit for our students at CUSD. And I'm here to answer any questions, Catherine and I, about this MOU, and I really urge an I vote for this MOU. Thank you.
Thank you, Gilbert. And so again, tonight we wanted to bring the MOU for discussion to see if there's any questions, what direction we want to go. I think we've had conversations within our community, just the value of having those connections and recognizing diversity. And so I'll turn it back over to Satish.
Thanks, Ms. Yap. So should we go for a round of discussion if any questions come?
Sure. I don't have any questions, but I actually have some information to share with the board. So as Catherine mentioned, the city of Cupertino entered into this Friendship City agreement with New Taipei City last October. And I was one of the volunteers that kind of helped with that. And I think what's exciting for me about this is that the government over there actually has interest. So, y'all know we've had these student sort of exchange sort of programs where they visit. They really like to, there's interest in that, but there's also interest in doing that at the staff level to be able to opportunities in the future for our teachers to do that and to sort of cultural exchange. So I think it's a really great opportunity, primarily because there is sort of institutional support there for these kinds of things. So just, certainly support that. So thanks.
Thanks, Julie. Well, listen, same order will go.
I don't have any questions either, but I would certainly support any sister city relationship. I think it's wonderful for our students, as long as we have the bandwidth to be able to manage. We already have, I think, 4. And as good as I think it is for students, I think we need to be able to do it well. So as long as our administration feels that they can manage it, I think it's a great idea.
Thanks. Sylvia.
Yeah, I had some questions. So definitely, excited for our students to have more opportunities, especially for cultural exposure. I'm wondering though, if this is a new sister city partnership with the city of Cupertino, why is the MOU happening between the district and the Department of Education over there? Because, you know, the model, of course, that we have is the Hsinchu city, sister city, where our students take part of the student exchange program, but it's not a specific MOU between our district and them. It's more between the cities, and then it's offered as a program for our students. And so can you, if somebody can help me understand maybe what the difference is, and why there needs to be this specific, I guess, contract between the district and them versus doing it the way that it's there's already a model, a successful model for it.
So I'll go ahead and take an answer to that question. Every city does it differently. I've been involved in Bhubaneswar, Toyokawa, Shinju, and Cupertino, Italy. Some cities prefer it go through the sister cities. This is a friendship city, so it's not a sister city. And I think that the new Taipei city government just want to, for prestige-wise, to have a MOU of understanding between their educational system and our educational system. So it's mainly a prestige thing. And that's a request that is made by New Taipei City.
I can also provide some explanation because both of our Los Gatos Saratoga Union High School District and then the Metro Ed, which is Silicon Valley Career Tech, we all entering into this MOU because that give our specialty staff, you know, more of feel like they get the blessing, you know, from the district, and then they feel like when they do this type of the collaboration, they will get more of the support, you know, and in spiritly, you know, I think it's good just have this type of the MOU. This MOU does not cost anything, but I think it just, you know, solid the relationship between the two entity on that one. So that's why we entering into that one with our own school district. And I also think that really help our staff feel more comfortable, you know, because this is something district will allow them to go, you know, beyond their just a personal touch on that one.
So can I clarify then, so is this program directed more at the educators and having the opportunity for the educators to meet with each other, collaborate, and kind of see, you know, our CUSD educators going over there and their educators coming over here versus like a student program like the Hsinchu City? Is that kind of the main difference?
Well, I think it's the potential of both. I think initially starting with more of the adults doing the initial exchange so that we can find out more about our two cities. And then as it expands and grows, expanding into the students to visitation. But I think to start off, initially it is the idea of adults doing the partnership, and then we grow as it goes forward.
Okay, and then my other question was, so you had mentioned that there would be no cost, which is great. That's always good to hear. But then in the MOU, I do see something about each party responsible for costs and having staff. And so I just wanted to get a sense of what that is.
Sure. So there's no initial cost to, as we start this partnership again, you know, it's began with email exchanges. It will begin, continue on with more communication. As we progress and as we have those opportunities to visit each other, there is going to be a cost, obviously. So I think when there's no cost, it's that initial forming of the partnership sisterhood that there is no cost to.
And then the way that this, I'm so sorry, go ahead. I can yield my time.
No, I think you finish it, then we can.
A lot of questions. Okay, thank you. So then the other question I have with regard to this MOU, is this going to be somewhat of a template that we use? So let's say other cities come and they want to do something similar. Are we going to, is this kind of a template that we use for this, or is this just specific to this program? I'm just trying to think of like process-wise, since this is brand new for us. I don't think we've ever had like a MOU with another, you know, cross-cultural, cross-country
program. So I just want to make sure that whatever it is that we're setting here, if it's going to create precedent for other potential programs, which would be which would be a great thing, but I just want to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in too much of a box here with whatever it's presented.
Sure. And I think that's where when we created the MOU, it is open. It doesn't lock us into doing anything that we're not comfortable with. I think in reflecting back is that as a board, we hadn't always brought resolutions. And when we bring a resolution forward on certain items, we have a discussion as a board whether we feel like a resolution is warranted at that time. I think the same for MOU. This was something that the new Taipei City feels comfortable doing. Again, we're very interested in doing the partnership, whether we have the MOU or not. From our side, we would still like to pursue it. But also if new Taipei City needs that extra assurance, I think, comfortable doing that as well. So you're right. We don't have anything spelled out in a board policy that specifically says when an MOU or when a resolution. And that may be something that we want to look at, because we've had throughout the years that I've been here, different ideas or thoughts come forward, and we've had to consider whether, do we do a resolution on that? Do we do a letter? Do we do an MOU? And so, that could be a future item that we do bring back for some discussion to put more of the policy in place.
All right. Those are my questions.
Thank you. Nari.
I guess my only one, the idea of monetary costs is covered. When I think about our other exchange programs, we have some phenomenal volunteers and time that go into those programs. And I guess I don't know enough about the infancy of those programs to know if what sort of the chicken and egg question, what came first? Was it the group of people that stepped up to help organize and run and support the program, or was it the program existed and the MOU existed and then people came to implement on what was already there? So do we anticipate there's going to be a volunteer and time factor in it, in getting it up and running?
And maybe I could, Catherine, would you speak a little to how you guys implemented and began the process?
Sure. I think when we implemented this one, we have quite a few of the volunteer very interested in support, monetary and timely, in this kind of support for this MOU. So we do have a very strong volunteer base, to support this program. And we actually have already for this city of Cupertino, this friendship committee, we already have a very strong support, from the resident of Cupertino. So that's where our standing. And then, so we're ready to jump in to help.
Thank you. That's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, I think pretty much all the questions are done, but I have only one thing. So again, back into the volunteering. First of all, it's great. Okay. And I support this. Absolutely. No question on that. Only thing, is there a staffing over a little bit? Means like, what is the amount of work for, not just for this, even for any other partnership? What is the real administration work actually we have?
Well, it would be difficult to define exactly what that's going to look like, but it certainly fits into our district priorities as far as engagement. And we have staff that work under that department. So I would see it fitting into that just as it would with any of our other sister cities.
So just by adding this, we are not going to have something additional stuff on them, right?
That is not our intent.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's it. I have. I'll support.
I have one more, sorry. Redirect.
Yeah, please.
Gilbert mentioned, and so did Catherine, that this is not a sister city relationship, it's a friendship city. I don't know the difference. Can you help me?
So the difference is that the friendship city is official. Friendship city is a term that's used for mainland China of the infancy. So it's not like an official, but it's almost like, it's a synonym. But it's almost like a sister city. We have 4 official sister cities with the city of Cupertino. 2 of them has relationships with CUSD. The other one has a relationship with Fremont Union High School District. And then the 4th one has a relationship with a private institution, which is St. Joseph's. So this would be a 3rd one that will be involved with CUSD. But it's just a matter of names. This one happens to be a friendship city. Hsinchu was a friendship city for about 20 years before it became a sister city.
Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. Appreciate it.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, please.
Sorry. So I'm just thinking with the sister city for Hsinchu, since you brought it up,
right now, the way that that program is administered, at least for the student exchange part, it's done by the committee, right? The Cupertino Sister Cities Committee and run through the city in that way. And,
It's not
and I
run
know
by
that.
city. It's not
Oh,
run
it's
by
not
city.
run by-
Everything is all run by volunteers. And the Friendship City will also be run by volunteers. We will work in connection with the superintendent's office with the various free schools that we're working with, but it is run by the volunteers.
I see. Okay. All right, that's helpful. Thank you.
All the vetting, everything, fundraising is all done by the volunteers.
Yes.
That's why we're called volunteers.
Yes.
If you have anything more. Okay, do you have any public comment?
No, we do not.
Okay, so can we, what is the next step here?
So I did bring it as a discussion. If there is a agreement, I can bring it back at the next board meeting as a consent item.
Okay.
Can we make a discussion action? Is that okay? Just,
It's your comfort field, whatever it is. So
Uh,
what, anything more are we expecting that probably we can ask staff also to bring it. So do you think that we need to, so what is
Well,
that you'll be presenting?
I think if we're going to relook, because I know we were talking a little bit about the MOU, so if we're going to relook at it and just make sure, you know, what it's saying and kind of the parameters that we're putting together, if there's a way to kind of take another look at that or have staff take another look at that.
Sure. Sure. In that case, then we would bring it back as a
I'm okay.
discussion slash
You all are
action.
okay with that, right? So I think that's a good suggestion anyway. So if anything more to be clarified, then we can do that. But discussion slash action, right? That will
Yes.
be, yeah, okay. And when is it expected? Okay, one question I forgotten was, is it, we are planning to do this year or what is that? When this MOU is starting from when?
Well, since we won't get it signed until the end of May, it would really probably be next year before we'd get, but initially, once we get it signed, I would like to step up our interactions and communication with New Taipei City to let them know that we have an MOU in place and start that conversation.
So would we be able to bring it in our May other meeting? Or no?
I would certainly like to bring it back on the May 26th.
I'll really appreciate that. Okay, so next meeting we'll bring it back. Thanks. Thank you all. Appreciate, both of you,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay, so then we will go to the next one. Review of this 10.2 expanded learning program plan draft.
So I did want to preface this next item before Allison starts in with it is to remind everyone that old analogy about building a plane while it's in the air. That is somewhat what this feels like as the state has developed the program and awarded money, set some of the parameters, and then said, go forth and do it. Not sure what we're going to be auditing on, not sure if we have enough money, not sure what it really looks like, but we want all school districts to do that. So if you can keep that in mind as we bring forward this plan, we are really doing the best planning possible. I think there's a lot of excitement as we move forward on this ELOP because it is something that we have talked about as far as expanding the support, the after school, the summer breaks, the other breaks. And so we are certainly approaching it with a sense of excitement and optimism. But there are some constraints that we're just not sure what the state is going to come down with on the final decision for funding as well. So Allison.
Thank you. So my hope tonight is that we can tell you a little bit about what we do know and the high level plan that we have in mind, knowing that things will probably continue to adjust. I'm also very, very happy to say that Derek Jackson is here in the audience, and he is going to be taking on a position as principal on special assignment to help us build and fly this plane. And so thank you, Derek, for being here. He's already jumping in to learn as much as possible. So thankfully, we'll have a new partner in this very big job ahead. The kind of concept of this at the state level is that similar to expanding TK, that we want to have this vision of really supporting the whole child and really families. And the idea is that some of the things that some children have, that we want to be sure that all children have access to expanded learning opportunities, enrichment, care. And so this program is intended to support our unduplicated students. So that is our low-income students, English learners, and foster youth, the same group that our LCAP is focused on. and provide students in that group with a 9-hour day. So school plus extended learning and care for every day of the school year plus 30 additional days. And so we are imagining this to be school plus kind of an aftercare environment, summer bridge programming for 20 days, and then a camp-like environment during February and April break. We're in the process of kind of building this and dreaming what this could be. The template from the state is something that we do have to get approved from you. We hope to do that at the next meeting, knowing that the ideas can shift and change and grow once we have more of the details in place. The template asks us to consider a variety of areas, including safe and supportive learning environments, active and engaged learning, skill building, youth voice and leadership, healthy choices and behavior, access and equity, and quality staff. So we are in the process of determining how much would that cost? How could we put something together and where could we start? We are required to start with the unduplicated students at the sites that have the highest percentage of low-income students and in that order. So that's why on the template, you see the kind of ranking of sites using the percentages of free and reduced lunch for this year. The requirement is to use the prior year's numbers. So thinking ahead to next year, pulling this year's numbers, it could change year to year. Those are our numbers for this year. And we're required to offer to all parents, all families of unduplicated pupils, which for our district at this time is approximately 3,000 students in grades TK through grade 6. But we're required to serve a minimum, enroll a minimum of 50% of that group. So in our minds, that target number is approximately 1,500 students. Over the course of next year, we can build up to that number, including the school day, the breaks and summer, little by little, or hopefully in big chunks at a time as we get going. So we are required to provide the program at the site where the students are at school. So those sites that are listed in the template, unless we provide transportation, which seems very challenging given the initial funding that was received. We hope the funding maybe will increase as we get a better picture of what's ahead for next year. The initial out of the gate funding for this year, when you think about all of those days and the number of students, was about $5 a day per student, which we know is not enough. And I have hope that the state has heard that feedback from districts. So when we get the final number for next year, hopefully it'll be higher, hopefully much higher than that. So it's been very exciting to start thinking about how to do this. And you saw some of our ideas in the template. We wanted to provide an opportunity for you to give some feedback so that we can continue to shape the program and then hopefully get your approval on the plan, which would allow us to then begin entering into any contracts once we have the final budget numbers in.
That's it, then we can go ahead for the, Jerry, you want to start?
Sure, thanks. So one question is around the sort of the selection criteria for the funding. Is this on a sort of an LEA level, or is it at the individual school level when the state looks at which sites to fund? Because anyway, I'll just stop there if you could maybe comment on that.
So we're required to start at the schools that have the highest percentage of low income families and then go in order from there. So we have to, follow that. In terms of the 1,500 target, I haven't seen yet any school by school requirement. It's stated as 50% of your population of unduplicated students. So we can get to that in a variety of ways.
So the understanding is the grant is to the district, and then it's not like they say school A, C, D, and F out of your list, but the grant really comes to us, and then
Yes.
we would presumably spend it in this prioritized order that we.
Correct.
Okay. And so then at this point, then if you're one of the students in the group, in the unduplicated group, but isn't at one of these sites, I know we don't provide transportation. Is there an option for them, for their parents to take them to that site? Or is that sort of not allowed? Or if you could comment, and I understand the whole plane, flying, building plane, et cetera, but if you could speak a bit about that.
We
What-
wouldn't, we are required to provide transportation if we're serving kids where it's not their home school site. So I haven't seen much wiggle room on that part, but again, things could change. And we are hoping, I mean, ideally, it would be great to have this everywhere, all school sites. If the funding comes in higher and we can keep building it out and maximizing our partnerships and being creative, then maybe over time we could get to that goal.
Understand. Okay, so it sounds like if we want to allow kids and not at the site to attend the program, we would be required to provide transportation.
Yes,
And
at
that-
this time.
Right, at this time, of course. All right, just one last question then. In terms of delivering this program, so we're looking at partnering with sort of external partners rather than our own staff. Is that the current thinking at the $5 per child reimbursement rate or whatever it is?
Yeah, we've been talking about a variety of options. We do have some staff who are interested, and so we're thinking there may be some combination. The challenging part is we have to be consistently offering it, right? It has to be the 9 hours every day and the 30 days. So if we were to use a staff model in any way, we would have to be fully prepared with substitutes, and, you know, we can't have a canceled day, for example, right? Families would be relying on it. So we're thinking about it, maybe trying some blended approaches at some sites, but primarily using that vendor model where they're fully set up to handle all of that. It probably is the best way to start. And then over time, we could consider other options. For Summer Bridge, for example, you approved the Kids to Pros contract. So we have our staff during summer school teaching, and then it transfers to the camp program in the afternoon. So we're able to handle it on that scale, and we'll see where this goes next.
Thank you. I certainly fully support this. No other questions. Really happy to see we have the funding for this. Thanks,
Jerry.
Satish.
Okay, Sylvia.
I have no questions.
No. I mean, this plan looks so great, like just reading through it and seeing all of the different, even just the small details that are included in terms of how we can provide these programs for some of the students that need it the most. So I'm really excited as well. I did have a question about, let me find it. The intercession. So the intercession learning programs, is that not intercessory, right? Is like what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, that means the 30 days that are required beyond the school year. So like during summer or during breaks where, you know, kids might be going to camps that parents are paying for. This idea is that we offer an enriching kind of camp style or summer school program when school is not in session for a minimum of 30 days.
But then we already have summer listed here. So it's
Mhm.
school
So like
plus
during
summer plus intercession?
During a February or April break, for example.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's helpful. I wasn't sure what that meant. So, Jerry asked my question about the $5 a day, so I'm good.
I'm wondering, so when I think about like my own kids and going to enrichment, I know the state is requiring us to offer the 9 hours a day, the 5 days a week. Are there attendance components or requirements that come with that we're going to be forced to enforce? Or is it that a family who is offered a spot can elect that if their kiddo wants 3 days a week, they can do 3 days a week?
Yeah, at this time, the requirement is enrollment, not attendance. So we
Okay.
could leave that up to parents, and they've indicated that will be true for at least a couple of years into the future. They're already saying that won't be audited, so the attendance part. So we are hearing that from parents in Summer Bridge. And of course, we can all relate to that too. Sometimes you want to pick up early or you have another class or a commitment. And so that parts it would continue to be parent choice.
Okay. And they don't have to commit ahead of time to any sort of specific days or number of days or any of that.
So I'm not sure yet how that part will work. It depends on how we set up the vendor contracts, because of course, staffing is the key, right? How to plan ahead, if they can manage a drop-in program, or if we would want them to pre-select, days of the week, for example. Something we're thinking about and exploring.
Okay. That's it for me. Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Laurie. I'll ask a couple of questions. One is this is an open for anyone can apply here, or who selects them? Like if just let's say I'm a parent, I want my kid to be part of that. Would he get a choice?
For summer, for example.
Yeah, summer, specifically summer, I'm talking about
Yes.
summer. Yeah.
So for summer, we sent out a letter to all families of unduplicated students. So not everyone, but students, parents of students who are in one of those groups or more than one of those groups, low income foster youth or English learners, because we can only use the funding to serve students in those groups. We're going to need to build it up slowly. So we can't go from 0 to 1,500 or 3,000, right? So what we did for summer is we prioritized students who were below grade level and in those groups, going from the furthest below grade level to the closest to grade level. So had a prioritization for accepting students. And we also asked parents, are you interested in this program? And that became part of the priority as well. So over time, we hope to serve as many of our unduplicated students as possible. But in the meantime, we'll have to have a fair set of criteria to move forward. So as we're building it, we're doing it in an equitable way.
And this 9 hours is mandatory. If someone has other programs also, they signed up, like, some third-party programs, still they have to, I'm talking specifically on summer. Is it like a 8 to 5, whatever that, I think I'm looking into that sample.
Right,
day.
yes, it's
So,
all day.
Yeah. So is it, they have to stay that full, or do they have a flexibility? This is coming back to similar
Right,
question
right.
what Laurie asked.
Yes, so when they initially commit, we encourage them to commit to the program, but then we let them know that they can choose to pick up early or do other things, but we're trying to, of course, maximize the limited seats. So if people say, well, I'm going to be traveling for 3 weeks, can I come for 1 week? We say, no, we're trying to find that balance between overall commitment, but day to day, if somebody needs to pick up early, that's fine. So trying to maximize those seats.
Like what Jerry asked, it's a third party, we are going to do it. And you mentioned that maybe few of our staff showed interest. Do they need any special training for this, or is it with the current skill set they can do this work?
I think we have an idea that we would meet together with all of the vendors and any staff and partners and do some kind of professional development and collaboration to maximize everybody's skills. The group that has expressed interest through our feedback process has been our CSEA IAs. We had a really great fun brainstorming meeting with some of them about what could be possible. And so this is already happening through like some of the learning hubs. So there's a lot of good energy around that as well. It could be staffed like a learning hub. There's no, special certifications required or anything like that, but it may be challenging with the 9-hour day after working all day. There are some wrinkles there that we're trying to navigate. But we're having lots of fun conversations about what might be possible. And of course, our staff has so many just rich skills that might not even be tapped during the day. A lot of people in second careers and just tremendous knowledge about, especially in the STEAM areas. It's been really fascinating and wonderful to see how much strength we have in our own staff. Mhm.
A follow-up based on that. Sorry. Thank you, Satish. We're not getting any sort of funding as sort of startup costs though, right? We're not going to have any funding to buy musical instruments. Like I know that's something
Yeah.
Derek is amazing with, or STEM equipment, or, like, are we going to have any ability to do any of that?
So we knew that this year would be a grace period. So
Okay.
the $5 a day, other than this, what we spent this summer, we're going to have carryover, which can be like a startup cost from this year, because
Oh,
we
okay.
knew that we would not be audited or penalized. It sort of started looking like it was going to be a grant application, then it just sort of came to all the districts, which was surprising and wonderful too. So it's going to give us some of that startup funding to be able to get started. And we're hoping that if we're going to use vendors after you approve the plan, then we can also get those things going. And some of the vendors will have, some of their own supplies too.
And then on the flip side of that, rather than hands-on and the STEAM kind of things, part of this is still academic support, right? So are you anticipating you're going to use any of our sort of in-session school year platforms, tools, any of that? And will that require certificated staff to do any of that, or how's that piece work?
Well, we have two tools that we think could be a good fit, iReady and then Imagine Learning, which is our tool that is personalized for English learners. So we feel like there's good potential there. And, having enough devices and making sure they're accessible, that part we're going to have to work through, but that is something that we hope can be worked in. Also, a lot of kids, they just need a little time to finish their homework, and with an adult who's checking to see if they do it, so we're imagining, a little bit of snack time, a little bit of play time, some time to get some work done, and then some activity time.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Satish.
Anybody else? One more round, or do we have any public comment on this, Aaron?
No, we do not.
Okay, that can we move on? Okay, so here, this one again, like what? It'll come as an
We'll
action.
bring it back at the next meeting as an action item for approval.
Okay. Thank you very much. Then the next one is 10.3. This is the policy.
So the first one is the education of homeless children. And you might be wondering, why is this coming back to us? When we brought it to you, it had to have been probably a month or more ago. You were comfortable with the CSBA recommended changes. And when we were preparing it for consent, we got our May update from CSBA with some additional changes. And so we felt it just made sense to bring it back as a second first read with additional changes. To be honest with you, in context, it's funny when CSBA updates, sometimes they just update language and they just move the language around, and it sort of says the same thing, but it says it a little bit differently. So most of those changes are pretty small, and you'll see that it's a new red line. So it's the newest updates based on what you had thought you were going to approve the last time. They talk about on this one how superintendent or designee will ensure removal of any barriers for homeless students. It talks about our process for identification, and we can only do the best job that we can in identifying homeless families and students to be able to provide the resources. And then it also talks about making sure that we have information accessible on the website. And Carrie's done an amazing job. If you go to our new website and look up under McKinney-Vento or homeless youth, everything that is required by law is there, easily accessible and readily available. So once again, we're bringing back this as a second first read with new changes, and can take any questions or comments if you have any.
All right, I'll go and start. It's not usually we get a second first reading, but it's, so I'm certainly good with these updates. But I guess as I was reading this and the section about, to ensure the easy identification of homeless students, it talks about doing an annual survey. And that got me thinking about, this helps us to identify the students that are currently enrolled. And I was just wondering, are there, and this is maybe more generic, a general question, is what do school districts typically do to sort of, what if there are students who should be enrolled and aren't because of their housing situation? Are there sort of common best practices? So I'm not saying I know we're shorthanded, et cetera, but what do people typically do to make sure that the students in a region that's eligible, but make sure they're enrolled in the system? Because the policy here is really making sure we have equity for the students in the system. And I'm wondering, what about the students that are not in the system, but really should be? And if you could speak a bit on that.
Yeah, I think one of the things is when they're young children, we do depend on our partnerships with our outside organizations like Sunnyvale Community Services and West Valley Community Services to be able to, when they're working with their clients who may be experiencing homelessness, to be able to work with us. And so we've got great partnerships with them. And so for our young ones, that's one way that we're able to identify them early. The other piece is that when a child enrolls and their situation may change, a family situation may change. We work with families when that does happen. The other piece is sometimes our families may just stop showing up because they're experiencing home loss. They've relocated. And really one of the district's best practices, and it should be a best practice in all districts, is that we just don't, when a child doesn't show up for 10 days, even though our policy says after 10 days of unexcused absences, we release them, we don't release them. We call the families, we do home visits, we send people out. We won't release them until we know that they have found another location. Most often we release families because we know what they're doing or what their situation is. But we as districts, all districts are required to not really release a child from their books and to still be diligent about identifying what their barrier is. Sometimes we work with families just to keep them in our district through McKinney-Vento. Other times based on that, they would prefer to be in a school closer to where maybe they are residing or their homeless location. And then we work with the outreach with the district that will be receiving them.
Great, thank you. I hadn't realized we had these relationships with these agencies. So it's really great to hear. So thanks. That's the only question I had. Thank you.
Anything for this?
A couple comments, I guess. One is Supervisor Otto Lee had actually has offered in the past for board members to come and visit one of the shelters that some of our families stay in, and I know that that's something that they can offer again. And I've gone with some other trustees from Sunnyvale and from the high school district, and happy to help make that happen again, because I think it's important that we go and see and see all the different services that are being provided for our students. Second comment is just the last paragraph of the board policy. At least annually, the superintendent or designee shall report to the board on the identification and outcomes for the homeless students. And so I know right now that's in the LCAP, but I'm wondering and hoping that maybe we can have that called out a little bit more for us as a board to get that as a specific report out to us, because I think that again would be helpful for us as a board to always keep those students in mind, and not just as part of the LCAP.
We can definitely do that, and we'll even make sure that we do highlight even when we are doing the LCAP. We're fortunate we have a very low number of students that are identified as homeless, and we always do our best to try to reach out. I've actually gone on one of the camp visits, and it's rather heartbreaking when you see your own students out there.
No, I'll just echo what Sylvia and Stacy both said. I think it is powerful to, see the resilience, but also to see, some of the conditions on which some of our own students are living. And I do think we are very fortunate in this district to not have a high number of students who are impacted by homelessness, by being houseless. But I do think that I've always been very impressed, Leslie, by all of the follow-up and diligence that your team does. And I do really appreciate the special care given particularly to the handoffs when it is time to transition to a different district to help with the situation. So anyway, that's it. And otherwise I have no questions about the policy itself.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I don't
Satish.
have either. I think most of the things covered. So do we have any public comment here?
No, we do not.
Okay, so this is also again, like we'll bring us an
We
action
would bring this back as a consent at the
consent
next.
item. Okay, so everybody's okay, right? Okay, fine then. Thank you then. We'll move on to the next one. Another policy that's immunization related.
And this one actually has very few changes. It's immunizations. It is also following CSBA's recommendations. Our nurses and Carrie Ito reviewed this. One of the biggest things is it really just deletes the date because it no longer is applicable. We're well after that July 1st, 2016 date when an immunization regulation changed. This has nothing, there's nothing in here references a need for COVID vaccine. So this is not related to that at all. It's really the 7th grade that, and I can't recall which one it is, but the 7th grade immunization that is now required. And that's it. We do work with families that are struggling to produce immunization records. And we're able to also, again, because of our partnerships with local agencies, if we have families that are struggling, we're able to connect them with the right people to get what they need to enter school.
Thanks. Anything, Jerry? You have?
Yeah, just a clarification question. In this red paragraph where it talks about the authorized healthcare provider, what authority does the authorization for these healthcare providers? Do we mean licensed? Do we mean the district? Do we mean the state?
It would not be us. This is actually new language that they've inserted. And really what it means is if a family is struggling to get immunizations, we could bring in an outside, an immunization agency to be able to, they'd have to be licensed. I think our practice would be, if that's the last resort, that's what we would do. But our practice would be to work with our health nurses to get families to the location to be able to get the immunizations. But
okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Leslie. That's it. Thank you, Satish.
Nothing here.
So
So if okay, we'd bring it back as a consent item at next
Okay,
one.
we'll go. Thank you very much.
And there are no public comments on this item.
There's no, good, thanks. Okay, so we are going to action items 11.1 pilot K-5.
So this was a discussion item at the last board meeting, so we are bringing it forward as action tonight for
So,
approval.
There's no
No
presentation, right?
presentation.
So can we have a motion on the table before discussing anything?
I move that we adopt the history social science pilot.
So let's a second, please.
Second.
Okay, thanks, Sylvia. So do we have anything to discuss? Okay, Jerry. So
I think we
any of
discussed
you?
it pretty thoroughly at the last meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Any public comments?
No, there are not.
Okay, so can we have a roll call?
Trustee Lou,
Aye.
trustee Cunningham.
Aye.
Trustee Vogel.
Aye.
Trustee Leong.
Aye.
Trustee Mahato.
Aye. Okay, this is taken care of this action. Thank you. Let's go to the next. Sorry. Give me a sec. Yeah, the 11.2 resolution adoption. Again, this we have, this is also coming as an action, right?
It is no
yeah,
presentation
no
tonight, just bringing it back
presentation,
as an
and,
action.
Let's go the same way, like let's put a motion on the table.
I'll move adoption of resolution 21-22-23.
Thanks. Second, please.
I'll second.
Thanks, Jerry. Can we have any discussion? Anything more?
Again, we discussed this, I think.
No,
pretty
I know.
thoroughly
Yeah,
at the
but
last
thank you.
meeting.
Yeah, but last, any public comment?
No public
Okay,
comments.
thank you. Then let's go for the voting.
Trustee Lou,
Aye.
trustee Cunningham.
Aye.
Trustee Vogel.
Aye.
Trustee Leong.
Aye.
Trustee Mahato.
Aye. So this motion carried. The next one is facility fees. This also came last time from Chris, but can we again like have a motion on the table, please?
I'll move.
Okay, thanks, Sylvia. A second, please.
I second.
Okay, thanks for this. So any discussion needed? I think we discussed a lot last time. Any of you? Any public comment here?
No public comments.
Okay, so let's do a voting, please.
Trustee Lu,
Aye.
trustee Cunningham,
Aye.
trustee Vogel.
Aye.
Trustee Leon,
Aye.
trustee Manhattan.
Aye. The motion carried. The next one is, again, okay, there's two are the contracts, actually 11.4, and any talk on any presentation here or any?
So
discussion?
I would like to, prior to you making the motion, just to acknowledge, I'm very fortunate that I have a very strong executive cabinet. I think we have people in roles where they excel and truly are excelling as leaders. They're strong, they're knowledgeable, they're collaborative, they're well respected throughout the district, and I certainly don't want to lose them. And so I am bringing forward tonight Allison Lanier is our Associate Soup of Ed Services. She currently only has 1 year remaining on her contract, and under Ed Code, we're allowed to have up to 3 years. So I would like to extend her contract out through 2025 for the full 3 years. In addition, one of the elements that, again, as the executive cabinet during the course of the last 2 years, when we were going through any of our budget difficulties, they agreed to freeze their salary schedule. So they were eligible to advance onto the salary schedule with their years of service, and they chose to freeze and not take any salary increment, any salary increase. And I would like to remove that freeze so that they can continue to move along on the salary schedule as they're eligible to.
Mrs. Yao. So can we have a motion first, then discuss, then that's the right procedure.
So moved.
Okay, thanks, Jerry. Any second, please?
Second.
Okay, so any discussion needed here? Anybody has a comment? Okay, any public comment?
There are no public comments.
Okay, then can we go for a voting, please?
Trustee Lu,
Aye.
trustee Cunningham,
Aye.
trustee Vogel.
Aye.
Trustee Leon,
Aye.
trustee Manhattan.
Aye. So the motion carried. 11.5 again.
So
No.
ditto, but this is to bring forward Leslie Maines, our Chief Engagement Officer. Again, I'm so appreciative of the leadership and the strength that she's brought into this position. When I had to be out for a family emergency, it was nice to, have her step in and take over, and did it very well. And again, we just like to have that pleasure and honor of continuing our work together and have her contract extended for 2 more years.
Can we have a motion on the table?
I
please?
move.
Okay, thanks, fellas.
Happy to second.
Okay, thanks, Laurie. Any discussion needed? Anybody? Any comments? Nothing. Okay, any public comment?
No public comments.
Okay, can we have a roll call?
Trustee Lu,
Aye.
trustee Cunningham,
Aye.
trustee Vogel.
Aye.
Trustee Leon,
Aye.
trustee Manhattan.
Aye, the motion carries. Okay, thanks. Then I think we are end of it, board activities. So again, the same order will go. Jerry, you have something?
Sure. Just a tidbit. There was a county school board association meeting today, and there was a sort of a little, I guess, factoid shared about the COVID cases. And so back on April 1st, there were about 150 cases a day. And now as of May 11th, is something like over 629. So it's a four-time increase in the daily cases since April 1st. So just something that was being shared. So
Did they say anything about hospitalizations?
I don't remember.
She did, Dr. Dewan mentioned that they are up. She did specifically call out that they have had some pediatric hospitalizations, which she made a comment about attributing to possibly an Omicron variant, new Omicron variant, but that was it. Yeah.
That was it for me. Thanks, Satish.
Thanks.
I've visited the last of the 25 schools today. So I've seen them all this year, which is awesome. I hadn't done that in a couple of years. And I think Satish and I have a wellness committee meeting coming up next week.
I think next week, yeah.
Yeah, and then Sylvia and I will do the board office hours next week. So that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sylvia.
I, along with, I think several of you, went to Collins, or actually right here, Collins, to see their glow in the dark art show. And I just want to say, we love getting invitations to go to these
Cool
things. So
stuff.
please keep inviting us, because it's just a great opportunity. And then Satish and I did the board candidate info session. And so those slides are up on our website for anyone who wants to get additional information. That's it.
So we had for Santa Clara County School Boards Association, we had the Hoffman celebration last night, celebrating several of the local districts in the county for innovative programs. In terms of just general updates from the various county school board association meetings, a couple things have come up recently at various meetings regarding there's been an uptick in the county with fentanyl poisonings. In more than one, I think it's 3 local high school districts, they've lost students. A couple of the local high school districts mentioned they've had as many as 3 students in the last 18 months that they've lost to fentanyl poisonings. There is a county task force that's coming together that several local trustees are following and serving on. So just to have on everybody's radar that is, I guess, an increasing presence in our community. And in the case of the 2 most immediate school districts that lost students on either side of us at the high school level, but not our high school district, it was shared that they believed that the kids didn't know what they were taking. They were not seeking opioids. It can be laced into other things such as Adderall. And so the kids didn't even know that they were putting themselves at risk for fentanyl poisoning with the choices they were making. So just to sort of know that that's out there as a topic right now that our high school boards are wrestling with. And the other information that was shared is it can come down to the middle school level. So just for all of us to have on our radars as well. And then the other thing, so Legislative Action Committee this year, we met with all except for one of our state legislators that touch any part of Santa Clara County. So all of those meetings happened. We met with 4 of our 5 county supervisors and 2 of our congressional representatives. So that concludes sort of the legislative action and advocacy for this year. We also had a delegation from several boards in Santa Clara County that went and just completed a similar to our legislative action week with the State School Board Association. They just went and participated in Washington, DC at the federal level. They went and advocated at the Department of Education with legislators in Congress, and a couple even got to go to the White House. So anyway, that was shared out. So I believe that's it for county school boards. And then we have budget advisory next week. There you go.
Sorry, mine is, I think, Collins visit Sylvia already said. I was here. It was a movie night outside. It was great to see. It was full. Actually, there was a snack shop. It was great to see a good turnout. Second thing which we missed is Jerry and myself, with the help of Leslie, we had 2 by 2 with Cupertino. It was a good meeting with few actions and things like that. No public comments, but it was a fully packed agenda. It was, yeah, and the next date we will be looking at. Then I think the board candidate, I think Sylvia already said I was there. I think Jerry and Sylvia, you were there with Congress person like Anna issues, right? That Zoom meeting from Santa Clara County Board.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was. I think you were there, Laurie?
Yeah, with Anna.
Oh, okay, Anna. Yeah, that was good too. So that's it. It was a busy 2 weeks for many of us. Okay. I think that's it. Oh, you have anything to share? Any? Okay, thanks. Then agenda setting for the next or future stuff. Anything? Same order. You have anything? Jerry?
I think we had talked before about inviting Safe Routes to School to give us an update. If we could kind of get that in before the end of the semester, that'd be great. Thank you.
And we are trying to figure out a schedule, and I think Cherie is getting back to us on what date would work best for her.
Nothing here, thanks.
I don't have anything for this evening. Thank you.
I think Kennedy's their Olympiad. I think they are interested in doing a showcase, right? So we need to plan that before end of the year.
Yeah,
So
already
that
reached
should-
out to them, so we are trying to get them on for the May 26th. Just depends on how quickly they can get their group together. So we'll either be the 26th or we'll have them on for the
Okay,
June.
that's great. So because they did great job, and
Yeah.
it's a right place to do the showcase. That's it. I have two. So are we having a continuation of the close?
We'll go back into
Yeah, we'll
closed
go
session.
back. So we should not adjourn this then.
No, not yet.
Okay, so
Just adjourn to
we have
closed-
one more
closed
item
session.
actually in the closed session to be discussed. So we'll have to go back to closed session. So we are adjourned for that. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we are back from the closed session and there's nothing to report. The meeting is adjourned.